announcing our sponsor of today's podcast, Technical Issues. They're striking again. It's very, very, very proud of the sponsor to make and promote them twice. Great sponsor.
Are we back? Welcome to the podcast. It's slightly different this week. So we've just spent a few days in Birmingham. We've come back. My head has nearly fell off my shoulders because I've done something dodgy to my neck. So I've decided on Friday, Rob's gone into the office, I'm working from home, but we still need to record the podcast, so we're doing it remotely. So let's see how this goes. Rob, how do you think it's going to go?
I hope this goes well, and if you're watching this, it's probably gone okay.
Yeah, it's watchable.
Yeah, so we've got laptops, so I'm not going to be looking at you. I'm going to be talking to David down here. So it's going to look a bit like our normal setup where we're looking at each other. And every now and then I might give it a little sneaky glance. But we are going to talk about the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we've taken Abby on as an apprentice. You've seen bits in the vlogs. And obviously, you've seen that we spent 2 days in Birmingham. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a recap, really, as to what it's like bringing a new employee into the business, how we've found that so far, and also talk a bit about what it's been like venturing outside of Doncaster for more than an hour or so. So, yeah.
As if we've never done it before. I'm sure people think that we're just like Doncaster based. Because we're quite Doncaster centric, people don't realise that we actually do get out and about and film outside of Doncaster.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't got a greatest track record though, because I think the last time we ventured outside of Doncaster was car trouble day. I don't know, it wasn't. We went to Coventry since. I'll tell a lie.
Yeah, and I think we nipped to Sheffield. I'm sure I've been to Worksop.
Twice you've been to Worksop.
Yeah, we venture out more than you'd expect, I think. I also, just so you know, if I keep glancing this way, I've got little Blake here. And she wants to touch Rob, but the only problem is I've got AirPods in. So she can see Rob, but not hear him. You can't hear him, can you?
It's probably a blessing, to be honest.
That's good for you. You sit there then, good girl.
I keep pausing.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if you can still hear me now, Rob.
I mean, it's all currently froze, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. You can, because we're recording on a separate camera. But our wonderful audio-visual chat is having some technical difficulties.
I'm back.
You're back. I can't hear you.
Hang on. Can't hear you, though.
Still can't hear you.
You can't turn your mic off or out, have you?
Mommy, I want your cakes.
We might have switched to mobiles. So this podcast is brought to you by Network Interruptions. Broadband issues. That's today's sponsor.
Right, I suggest we do it as fast as we can then. Well, I think starting with having an apprentice, it's cool. So I think obviously the apprentice thing came about because obviously Abby is my kid, so she was looking for something to do, really wanted to get into this type of world and stuff. So it kind of just made sense from a family point of view. We're trying to do this, she's interested in this type of stuff. She wanted to move away from college and get into like the real world experience and stuff like that. So it worked out like more for a personal reason. And then we started thinking, well, how does it work out for the business? And it's like, oh, well, it actually works out because we do need an extra pair of hands. We do need somebody to help with the social media. And so the main things like that just seemed to make sense. So we were like, yeah, this makes sense. This is cool. But I think the recent trip away to Birmingham, the last week, I think working with the apprentices there, because that was working for Coach Core Foundation, who put apprentices in the world of sport and stuff. So we were talking to a lot of apprentices. So like we were getting to see how other apprentices are operating in a different industry, in a different area. And I think what it really showed us was we was dealing with some other like 17-year-old girls in particular, and now we've also got our own 17-year-old girl. Not like we like bought her or whatever. Like, we bought her because we thought this would be a good business decision. The drone, 17-year-old girl.
I was going to give a shout out to Seamus.
Oh, Seamus, that guy. But yeah, so having having Abby along with us whilst we're working with other people who were her peers gave us a whole different dynamic, because she was able to connect with them in a way we weren't. So I noticed when we were setting up some camera gear and stuff, Abby were like talking to one of the girls, and they were talking about just similar things that they're interested in. Abby were like saying, oh, don't worry, we've done this, and this is how it usually works. And young people tend to be more, you know, they'll take advice and information from their peers more than they will some geezer who's old enough to be their dad, like quite literally. So it gave us a whole different dynamic, and we saw it in action. It weren't just a theory like, oh, this might be good. And I'd not really thought about that specific aspect too much until I saw it happening, and I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is like going to work really well for us. I don't know if you noticed anything in particular like that as well.
Yeah. So I think during that point, I know they were talking about like One Direction or something, which is like, which is fine, like, because it's just them sort of interactions that I think help put people that are nervous just at ease in a very different way to, like, because we're quite good anyway, sort of like easing people into being on camera when they're not used to it. But I think obviously, depending on the person we're obviously working with, I feel like that was something that worked really, really well, was them interactions made them feel a lot more comfortable than either of us ever could have, because they were the same, bang on the same level, whereas we're obviously like older, don't really know One Direction. Who am I kidding? You don't really know One Direction.
I know One Direction a little bit, but I'm not a fangirl.
No, I'm not as far as that, but I know more than the average person probably should. But again, if I were just going to start chatting about One Direction, it sounds, even if I know a bit about it, it still looks like it's just like me trying to find some common ground, whereas that was genuine common ground. And I think that's something that we just physically can't achieve, because obviously we're both like 30 and men.
Jesus,
Whereas
thanks, mate.
someone younger or someone like female, it's two different dynamics there straight away. So I think
that's it. I think as well, we're big advocates for, we're in a lot of meetings where people are talking about the future and plans for the future and how young people are integral and young people are important, and it's important to get young people involved, and then not actually getting young people involved. And I think what this apprenticeship, having Abby on board as well, has allowed us to do is, if we're trying to reach a certain audience, or we're just looking for other fresher ideas, let's be honest, the majority of people that are super active on social media do tend to be younger people. And Abby taps into not just what younger people are doing, but how they think. So even sometimes the information Abby's giving us she doesn't know she's giving us vital sales strategies, social media marketing information. We're just kind of asking, what are you doing? Like, what apps are you using? How do you use them? How do you interact with content? She'll just tell us what she does. And that's valuable information to us, because then we're like, when we're working with this client or we're trying to reach this type of person, we've now got a better insight into what those people are, how they're consuming content. So it's great on that level as well, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I think something I've enjoyed watching is like if you don't follow us on TikTok already, or Instagram,
why not?
That's it. Is the story updates on Instagram, the like day in the life on TikTok. It's them sort of things that I think, depending on what we were doing, we'd like snap like one photo and be like, oh, we're here, here's in the story, boom, there's your story for the day. Like, whereas that's her role, is doing them sort of bits, and like, it's obviously at this point it's been 2 weeks, and it's very much like second nature. Whereas like for me, if I was going to start posting stories, I've got to really think about it, because I'm like, you obviously grew on Instagram using stories, and whereas I didn't, Instagram I'm not great at. So yeah, if I was going to start doing that, I've really got to think about it and learn, like, not learn how to do it, but learn the consistency of doing it. That's what I have to like train myself to do.
It's not just there, is it? You're not just, like you're saying there, it's not just second nature. Whereas like Instagram stories for me, even vlogging, is just second nature. I get up, I vlog, I think about it. It's like at the front of my mind is, oh, I need to vlog, I need to do the vlog. Whereas like what you're saying is Instagram in particular is not something that would just pop up in your head.
No, and I find that I get too stuck in, which is obviously good for the client, may I add, that I get stuck into what I'm actually doing. So then by the time I think, oh, maybe I should have took a picture of this for Instagram or something, or put on Instagram, I've probably finished. So I'm a bit late to the party. So having someone that's there doing that, and they don't have to think about it as in like, oh, shall I do this, shall I not? Oh, shall I post this, shall I not? And I think that is something with, like what you're saying, with the younger people that are used to being on them sort of social medias. They see stuff, so like straight away it's not like, oh, I should ask, shall I post this? Shall I post this? And there's a lot of initiative there, just from general learning of using the apps over a period of time. And I think that's something that, in particularly Abby's role, is extremely useful.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think as well, just that's obviously the aspects of being a part of the younger generation, and that generation that it is just second nature to do TikToks and stuff like it. Just they're growing up using that. Where obviously us being a little bit older, me even being another like whole school experience older than you. Like obviously if you're talking at the high school is like for 5 years or whatever, like I'd been and gone by the time you then started high school. So it's like I'm almost a slightly, it's not like we're a different generation, but it's slightly different. I've had to proper relearn everything from being 30 plus. You're only just 30. And it's like, so I'm having to actually learn all of this stuff. You're then like closer to, well, I've had it from a younger age, but still you didn't necessarily grow up banging out content. Whereas then we've got Abby, who is literally growing up in a world where everybody is on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, like all that sort of stuff. So it's like, it is just second nature, and I think that's really valuable. But other than that, just having that extra brain power, an extra pair of hands, especially as we move the conversation into Birmingham, where we've just been for 2 days, on our first kind of big job outside of Doncaster that involved travelling overnight stays and a really hectic schedule. It was just fantastic. There's no way we could have. There were some parts where I'm being an interviewer, you're having to check 2 cameras and microphones. How we then creating the behind the scenes content as well, it just becomes almost impossible, because I was able to be a better interviewer and speak to people, make them feel at ease, ask the right questions to get the right content, because I didn't have to think about, is the camera recording still, is the audio working, and then vice versa, you didn't have to think about necessarily, I don't have to listen to the whole conversation and control this narrative, because I'm just making sure the cameras are working, the angles look great, the lighting's good, the audio's good, and then so we're both able to do those parts of the job, which are both vital, better, because neither of us then had to think about, are we taking photos, are we getting behind the scenes, because then Abby were doing that, so we didn't have to think about any of that, and it were kind of like, oh, this is great, because usually we have to play several roles at once, which means we only then do each role to 80% or whatever, rather than 100%. So just that was good. I don't know if that's what you found as well.
Yeah, and I think especially with the vlog as well, obviously at this point I've watched back, because you edited it, so we watched it back, the first day of Birmingham. At this point I've not watched any of the second day back, but there's points in there, I think probably more so in the second day, also like I remember more so where Abby's, because she obviously got the vlog, so she's filming bits, so we can, rather than go, right, okay, I need to put this stuff down to pick up the vlog, to talk to it, to tell you this bit, but then everything else is still happening around me, so forget it, I'll just come back to it. Like, Abby's there, ready to go, so it's like, oh, I've got something to say for it. All right, cool, it literally just press record, you can turn around, say your bit, and then carry on again. So it makes the vlog a lot more interesting for you as a viewer, and also when we come to sort of sharing stuff and things like that, we've got better content to work with, rather than going like sat in this scenario saying, oh yeah, we did this, that, the other. You're actually seeing it live in location, and it's like fresh as well, so we're talking exactly about what it is. It's better for us to watch and better for you to watch, so it's all around better content that we couldn't produce if it was just us two, because some moments, particularly on day 2, there is a lot going on, and there's no way we could have vlogged and not miss something. So yeah, I think that's cool.
I think
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it allows us to, just like I was mentioning, as you've reiterated there, it does allow us actually to be even better at the actual job. Not that we were rubbish before, but because we would always put the job first, but then the vlog would get neglected, because obviously if we have to neglect something purely because of amount of hands we've got and brain power, the vlog would have to be like, we're not going to get that clip, the vlog's going to have to sit down because we've got to concentrate on the work first. Whereas now, hopefully, as you're saying there, we're able to focus fully on the work and deliver the best quality still, whilst also then still delivering an even better vlog. And obviously we could not do that without having Abby.
I think as well, actually, what I'm just thinking, saying, oh yeah, we've done these 2 big days in Birmingham, don't forget, in Abby's first week, we also did 3 days or 4 days, we didn't vlog, so it was a Saturday, at Hatfield as well, which is obviously the massive water park.
I'd forgot about that.
Yeah, that was actually in the first week, so that was also a massive job, but obviously because it was local to us, it didn't have the same dynamic of we need to make sure everything's charged in the same way, because obviously we can just put stuff in the office, put it on charge and things like that. There's a different dynamic because we're local, but that was also a massive job. So there's 2 massive jobs in 2 weeks for someone that's in their first job as well, really. So
yeah,
even the smaller jobs, and when we're saying massive job and small job, we don't mean in level of importance or anything. We mean it, the scheduling, the amount of time that goes into it, that sort of stuff. Obviously going away to Birmingham for 2 days, staying overnight, getting accommodation, making sure we're travelling. We were travelling to 10 different places possibly around that or whatever throughout the time. So that's what we mean by big job. Smaller job, we mean we know where we're going locally, we're going and we're filming, we're going to be there and back in an hour or whatever. And even in the first week, she's worked with the Dome, Doncaster, DCLT, Visit Doncaster, Business Doncaster, the Race Course, Lakeside, French Gate. And if you're from Doncaster or surrounding areas, you know that those are huge players within the city. And Abby's been exposed to people and those environments. All this in the first 2 weeks. As Rob then said, the Hatfield Activity Centre as part of DCLT. And then this Birmingham with Coach Core, who are a massive, I think they're UK-wide, I think I'm right in saying, a UK-wide apprenticeship foundation. It's Jesus, it's 2 weeks. And I'm really proud of us that we've been able to build a business that's then given these opportunities and opened her up to these experiences so early on. I think it shows the rapid growth that we're having as well as that agency, Carl.
yeah, I'd agree. A lot of that broke up my end. I didn't want to say anything because I could hear bits and pieces. So I don't know if you can hear me clearly or not.
I can hear you, yeah.
All right, okay.
It'll be good on this, hopefully. Don't worry, they've got it. They're the important ones. I said we're ace, basically. We're amazing.
It sounded like a rousing speech anyway, so I look forward to editing that bit back.
It were great. Can you hear me at all now?
Right, we're back again for announcing our sponsor of today's podcast, Technical Issues. They're striking again. It's very, very, very proud of the sponsor to make and promote them twice. Great sponsor.
Are we back?
Yeah, because I know before that you were saying about big jobs and little jobs, saying like that, and obviously big job includes all the level of equipment as well. Because some stuff is a very important job, but it involves 2 tripods, 2 cameras, and it's more about the narrative. Whereas, some of these, you've seen the vlogging Hatfield, we had the drone out, we had the GoPro going, there was a lot going on, equipment-wise, because of the style of video. So I think that, again, that's when we say big job, little job, that's also a defining factor, is just the sheer amount of stuff we have to sort of take back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
As a first week goes, though, to be in some of the places and meet some of the people that she has, my first job, what was my first job? First job I actually did, other than an apprenticeship, first actual employment was a call centre, Anglian Windows, and I did 3 days a week. I did something like 3 hours, and I basically phoned people up cold calling, see if they wanted to buy some windows, and I made 0 sales in 3 months. Record, right? But
I think other than a paper round, I worked at Little Chef as one of my first jobs when I was about 15, just pot washing and that. and then Abby's done everything that I've just mentioned a minute ago. It's mind blowing.
it's insane. It's insane. If my first job was like them first 2 weeks, like to be fair, the last 2 weeks has been some of the best. Like some of the last, like I'm not like dissing anything else we've done in the last 6 months or anything, but like the last 2 weeks worth of stuff, we've had some really cool bits of work on. And like I say, other stuff during the first 6 months of the business, there have been some really cool things there as well. And I think because they're fresh in my mind, because we've literally just done them, like a big water park. I can't even swim, but it looks cool. And like getting to fly the drone around, and then just like drive around boat, which is an absolute nightmare, by the way, because there is roundabouts every 2 seconds, and city drivers are a different breed. So yeah, looking forward to that part of Doncaster City. Yeah, like they're two very different experiences to anything that we've done. A lot of stuff we've done is very interview-based work, and yeah, this is something very, very different. So it was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. I think we've given a little bit of insight. Please watch the vlogs, because if you want to see real behind the scenes insight and things that we're thinking, things that we're doing, obviously the vlogs as well are designed to be quite entertaining and have a laugh and stuff as well. But there's a lot of valuable information there. I think following the vlog is the best place to follow. Just to see like all of like what we're saying. But I think we spoke there about the apprenticeship. We spoke about the trip to Birmingham, some of the work that we've been involved in, and we're also having mad technical issues. And my battery's about to go as well. So this has been an absolute shambles. But I think Rob, unless you've got anything else to say, you can give a final rousing speech before you end the podcast.
Yeah, no worries. So I mean, nothing more from my end. I'm just going to shout out our sponsor once again. Technical difficulties. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Hope we have a better sponsor next time, because this one, if I'm honest, I don't really like them. They're wasting my time. I will not be buying.
Good luck editing this one.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting edit. So yeah, at the start when I told you it's probably going to be good, well, you know, we'll reevaluate that sentence now. And yeah, with that, end of pod. But I ain't got a button to press this time.
That were a shambles, wasn't it?
Stop the recording.